Hello, listeners, and welcome to our preview here of the Dato Tantrum Nam from Moonee Valley tomorrow. Looks a good race. We've only got two first up horses, and the rest have had a run this campaign. So we sort of know a little bit about most of them at this stage, and it does look with the cleaner who will go forward at a good speed. Another horse that we'll probably see go forward is Kenja Wood. So, we would certainly expect that this will be a pretty genuine type of race. And it looks to be, a decent sort of field. There's a few good horses, and it does drop off a little bit. But, we would expect that it'll be a pretty good race here. So we'll just run through the horses from top to bottom. Our current rating for four tellers around $18, and currently he's $15 to $17 on the markets. Look, he's a horse that has ran quite well at Moonee Valley in the past. He looked to me to resume quite well first up at Randwick behind Royal Descent. I thought that he produced not a bad type of run, and I think that he'll go pretty well here again, and I don't think he'll be too far away. He's got to overcome that barrier, which probably will cost him a little bit at the start, and just such is the nature of the opposition here at the top end. It's probably a gap that will be a little bit difficult for him to overcome, but we certainly would expect that he will be putting in a good run. On to Ethiopia. Very difficult horse to get a line on. Obviously highly talented when he was younger, and broke down in that Melbourne Cup, and really he has never been able to get anywhere sort of near the level that he was during that campaign. He's almost got there a couple of times, but he just hasn't been able to do it. And as a 7-year-old, we wouldn't think that he'll probably be doing that again. So he's thousands for us, and currently he's 200 to 1 with the bookies. So he's certainly one that I think you can safely work around. On to number 3, Mourinho, and look, this horse resumed with a really good win first up. On my end, his figures, his overall speed rating wasn't too dissimilar to the figure he produced when winning on the 24th of January at Moonee Valley. At that time it was over 1,200 metres. Certainly he had a good run at Caulfield and was able to sort of get off the fence and kick away. And I sort of couldn't see any reason why he won't get a similar run again here. I think he maps well from barrier 3. Obviously, Vlad isn't riding a lot at the moment, but when he's on, he tends to be going okay. And certainly this horse, as we know, he's probably only going to get a little bit better as he gets out over more distance. And he's managed to win twice in his previous campaign and twice in the campaign before that. So, certainly he's a horse that knows how to find the line, and I think that he's a great chance tomorrow. We've currently got him around $8, and there's been a little bit of money for him early in the week, and he's around $6.50 to $7. So he's sort of right around the mark for us. Onto the favourite contributor, and there's sort of little doubt that this horse is a very, very good horse. Certainly his campaign when he was undefeated up in Sydney last start was very good, racing in high quality Group 1s and winning really well. His runs in the past first up have been very strong. And we sort of couldn't see any reason why he won't be able to produce another really strong effort like that. The little query is that when he has resumed first up, they haven't really gone very hard early. He hasn't been busted and opened up early to sort of keep up if they go really hard. And that's always a little bit of an issue for horses resuming first up. So despite the fact that the horse has got a phenomenal first up record, if the cleaner went mad here, it really could test contributor and his ability to finish off. But look, it's going to be very hard to not see this horse ride in the finish, such is the quality of the horse. But if we're talking about, is he worth taking at $1.70 when there's a big chance the field will be busted open and he could be too far back? It's sort of a horse that I'm sort of happy to probably work around tomorrow. Onto the cleaner, and we know a fair bit about this guy. He's obviously an exciting horse to watch. He ran pretty well first up. It was more of a controlled effort than we're used to in the past. He didn't go mad up front, but getting the Moonee Valley at a mile and just looking through his previous figures, this certainly is a track where last campaign he had 5 runs there, and basically all the runs he went absolutely nuts out in front. 2 campaigns ago that was. They've had a key jockey change with Kello taking over from Arnold, but you'd sort of think in a big race like this that and with that run under his belt where they probably just tried to look after him a little bit, that he's really going to put the pedal to the metal. So I think he's going to do what the cleaner does and go hard. And, it's hard to sort of not see him somewhere in the finish here. He'll certainly be around the mark. And like Mourinho, that there's sort of not a lot between them for us. On to Banker Mo. And this horse, look, he goes all right. He generally finds a way to win a couple of races. He resumes here off basically a 2-month break. He'll have a good bit of residual fitness, but he just doesn't appear to be at the level required here. You can certainly go through his historical form and cherry pick, some races to try and make a case for him, but on recent evidence, it sort of would definitely suggest that he's probably a horse that you could sort of work around. He's come out on our raw market at around $30, so he does look to be value. But once I apply a couple of penalties that need to go on, he's probably one that definitely won't be overs. On to Dibiani, and look, I thought this horse performed quite well first up in the same race as Mourinho and the cleaner and Big Memory. It's a key form race here, and Dibiani I thought raced pretty well. He was four deep at the turn, and he chased really well. I think that he sort of closed his last 400 off fairly, and showed that through the middle he could certainly kick down and display a good turn of foot. So I think that we can definitely expect that this horse will be improving, and he sort of looks to get a pretty good run. Obviously, he's a horse that we'd think would probably show good improvement. So they've also swung a fair few gear changes here. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on. He's come out around $15, which is about where the market's at. But we could probably easily have that a little bit shorter. On to Bagman, and this horse has been around for a long time now, and certainly he's been racing in really good form. He was a horse early in his career that was appeared to be a lot more suited around 1,400 metres to a mile. He had one campaign there in Adelaide where he just won everything and was totally dominant. He ended up in the hands of Chris Waller, and obviously he's been able to stretch the horse out to 2,000 metres, and the horse has been able to perform at a reasonable level at 2,000 metres. Look, he hasn't ran since the 1st of August, and this is certainly a lot stiffer opposition than he's been facing. We can sort of track his form back. We know a fair bit about the horse, and if we sort of measure his best runs at a mile, it would appear that they'll just fall short here. And I don't think that he'll just be quite sharp enough. So they've probably done all they can to freshen him up after those runs. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 7 runs have been over 2,000 metres. So back to a mile here. I think he's a horse that you can work around. Currently around $21 for us, and he's pretty close to that on the market also. But again, once we sort of work in probably a penalty with him, he's gonna be longer than 21 for us. On to the next horse, and that's Big Memory, and it's a horse that we had a crack at first up at a very big price, and he was heavily backed into single figures from the mid-20s. It just sort of didn't pan out for the horse in the end. He was never going to lead over 1,400 metres, but he just ended up getting back to last, and certainly the way the race shaped up with quite a slow early tempo. He produced a really strong finish over the last 800, but just fell short of pinching a place. And this is the little negative with his horse is he's got barrier 1. So if a horse like the Cleaner can't finish off, or Kenjawood, can't finish off, and they end up cluttering the rail, certainly Big Memory's going to have to probably overcome those horses and get off their heels. But look, on ratings and figures, he doesn't have the exposed class of some of the others, like Contributor or the Cleaner or even Mourinho. But when I'm sort of going through the speed figures and analysing just how well this horse has ran historically at a mile, how quick he can go, he's well in this race. He's run first up at Caulfield over a mile last prep behind Smoke and Joey was very, very strong, and certainly he's had a trial and a run under his belt now. I think that he's one horse that certainly can handle that pressure that could be going on early in the race. And I thought that he returned really, really well at Caulfield. It was a fantastic performance, and I think that if you had to have a bet in the race, I think there's $12 to $15 available currently online, and he looks a really good bet each way. I think that he's definitely the way to go. Fourth ranked horse for us in order, and certainly the one that at this stage represents the best value. Damien Oliver on, and he's the horse that we'd suggest backing each way. and I think I'm back here. Sorry about that, guys. I had a technical difficulty, and it decided to crash up on me. So unfortunately, it did that with 3 horses to go, and they don't really look like they've got much chance. But anyway, just for the purpose of the video, we'll finish it off. So apologies for that. And yeah, Galante is the next horse. Look, we sort of haven't seen a lot of this horse. He came over and he's had the one run. He had okay closing sectionals after sort of not a lot went right in that race at Caulfield. So, you know, the stable can sort of produce them, but you know, unless there was a big market move, it's sort of one, you know, we'd be pretty happy to work around. We've got him in the hundreds, and he's at the moment 50. So just sort of wait and see there. On to Kenjawood. Look, you know, they went way too slow on the horse last time, and you know, the horse is a high cruiser. He doesn't have the class to win this race. He's a 6-year-old, and he's had plenty of runs, and we know a fair bit about him. Certainly on his day at around 2,000 metres, where he can get out and running along, this horse can produce figures that are astounding. But you know, history would suggest that weight for age at a mile, this horse is just going to be outclassed. $34 we've got him, and he's currently around the $20 mark with the bookies. And then the last one's No Tricks, and you know, this horse is in the 200s, 200 to 1 with the bookies, and you know, you'd probably you might even be able to. Oh no, it's disappearing, the 200 as I look. But anyway, he'll be between 100 and 200 to 1 tomorrow, and I think that you know, I don't think he can win, but certainly he didn't run too bad last start, did he? You know, he or she, sorry. So she you know, was only 2.3 lengths off of the good horses. But what generally happens is when the tempo is quite slow, it certainly gives the lesser class horses a better opportunity to tack on. And if they've got to turn a foot, then they can sort of keep up. But if the tempo is more genuine, they really need to rate it their highest throughout different points of the race to just keep up, and that's when the class really comes into it, and they're just sort of unable to finish. So you know, her run last start was a massive peak for her, but it would all be mostly attributed to the fact that the tempo of the race early was quite slow, and that certainly aided her in her ability to keep up. So the raw figures, we've got her around 34, but you know, once I sort of have a look at it and whatnot, I can certainly understand why she's between 1 and 200 to 1 online. But that concludes our look at the Dato. We'll try and bring you a preview of all the feature races throughout the spring over the next few months. And I think that certainly going forward, Contributor's the horse to follow. Just whether or not you know, he's going to be able to win tomorrow if the cleaner goes mad, that's the little query. But really, it's impossible to knock Contributor. He looks a star, and I think that that big memory around, you know, 12 to 15 online, I think that represents pretty good value at this stage. He's not a horse that I could have any longer than my current rating of 9. He'd have to stay there, or we could even tighten him up a little bit. But I think he's the way to go with Ollie on board each way. So again, sorry about the little mishap in between. Good luck for your betting tomorrow, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.